Hello, everybody, and welcome. We will wait a few more seconds and see if other people join, and then we can start with the presentation and the Rapidi walkthrough. Hopefully, more people are joining to our session. If not, the recording will be sent out and everything else to all recipients. So I think I'll go ahead and start. So welcome to our open office hours. So we will start with this first session, which is the MyRapidi walkthrough. It's a general section. And after this one, we'll have more in-depth ones that you can join and learn about specific Rapidi functionalities. Now, the agenda for today, I'll have a brief introduction to Rapidi in case you are not very familiar with Rapidi. I will explain a bit the open office hours, then we'll have the walkthrough, then we have questions, and last but not least, I will show you which are the upcoming sessions. Now, let's have a very brief introduction of Rapidi. So as most of you know, Rapidi is an iPaaS platform. So Rapidi specializes in data integration. So Rapidi works with a variety of systems and has quite some years in terms of data integration. So there's a lot of experience and expertise in that area. And of course, the solution that Rapidi provides is flexible, complete, so customers can have their integration up and running in no time. And of course, on our end, we do like to go the extra mile for our customers and make sure that they get the support that they need and they are happy in the end. Now, of course, another thing I want to mention, so here we have the Rapidi's most common endpoints. So we definitely try to update what you see here, but our possibilities are not limited to what you see here. We can connect to other systems as well, but just so you have it as a reference in case you need new integrations or new endpoints right now. Now, let's talk a bit about the open office hours. So we will have these micro sessions. There will be 30-minute sessions that will focus on a specific topic. So this is a very general session. We just have an introduction to Rapidi. It's a walkthrough, so then you understand a bit more about Rapidi. And of course, what you would expect from all these sessions. So you'll have 30 minutes focused on specific topics. We'll have live demonstrations. So I will explain different functionalities, different things that are related to your integrations. We'll have Q&A. So you can add your questions at any point in time. If I'm explaining something and you have a question, just use the chat, write it there, and then I will go through those. And of course, I will also provide tips or maybe recommendations on how to do things. And then who should attend? Of course, anyone can attend in theory, but of course, if you think that you need to know more about a specific functionality or about something that has to do with your current integration, please join. You will definitely get the information that you need. So it's not necessarily specific to a certain level. Of course, we do have certain levels, so we do mention that, so then you have expectations set up correctly. So beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So as you can see, if you're a beginner, you want to learn more, you can join, and you will definitely get more knowledge. Intermediate and advanced, those are the end users that have more experience and know a bit more about Rapidi, and they just need to get more in-depth knowledge about the integration. So that was it, with regards to this part. So right now, I will just have a walkthrough of Rapidi and explain a few things. So I'll just add this one here so you can see my screen. Okay, so this is what you would normally see when you log into Rapidi, right? So this is a service. This would be my service. And here we are on the dashboard. So the dashboard is the first part that you would have on the service. And here you would see the service name. Then you see when it expires, edition, and usage. And then you have a few other things on the dashboard. You have the service status here. So here you would be able to see what is the status of your specific service, right? So in here it says it's running and you have a version. So as some of you might know, we have several versions that have been released. So whenever there's a new functionality implemented, whenever we work on something that needs to be released, then we will have a new version. So that version would be available to any customer. You just have to upgrade, well, to update basically your service, so then you get access to that functionality that's included in that specific release. And of course, we do notify customers now about any release notes that we have. So in case you need to know about a specific feature, you can go through our release notes and you will see all the details there. And then, of course, what you see here is the second part. So in case you have on-premise systems that are connected, then you would see them as connected. In my case, they're not connected because I do not have anything installed locally. But then this part would give you a good understanding of what is being connected to this service, right? And where does it go? Then you have the central service state. So here you have the option to restart this one. Well, I wouldn't advise you to do that, but of course, if it's really critical and you want to do it where you need to do it, you can do it because it's your service. But obviously, it's there, but not really needed. And then another functionality, you have delay all schedules. So here, if you want to, you can automatically delay all your schedules that are running. So you have if you're transferring data back and forth and you have that based on an interval, you can delay all of them by adding here the specific number of hours. So that's all you can do on the dashboard. Then next, we will have connections. Connections, a very important part of any service. So here you can create any connection, right? So you just select the connection type and then you click on new and then you fill in all the information that's required for that connection type. Now, of course, here you have a search bar. You can search for it and you can find specific connections that you have already set up. We have a separate session on connections, so we will go into more details at that point. Now, of course, whenever you want to connect to any system, you have to make sure that you can actually read data from it. So this is the first place you would go. Under connections, create them, make sure you have access, and then you are good to go for the next steps. So we have connection here, and then we have transfers. So transfers, then here we have the bridge, right, between the systems. So you have the connections in place, all good. Now you need to set up transfers. Okay, so any transfer, we need to have a specific structure, right? So you need to go through specific steps. A transfer will always have the general section where you have the connections, right? Source, destination. Here you would have exactly the tables, objects that you are going to read from, and the one that you are going to write to, basically, right? So this is the general part of it where you really need to add the right information. The second part is source control. So source control is where you need to add a timestamp or a datetime field that would record any changes or any new records that have been created, right? So this is really important because then the overall performance will be better. Then we have table links. Here, just you need to have the primary keys. So any object, table, page will have primary keys, right? So those unique IDs that the systems use. So then you add them here to ensure that in both systems, one record has a primary key, meaning that unique ID. Then you have field list mapping. So here you have your mapping being added, right? So here you want to make sure that the fields from the source are mapped to the fields from the destination. So here you have one-to-one or one-to-many. Again, we'll have a separate session because we have a lot to discuss here and we don't want to use this time today for it. And then you have filters, right? So filters, you can filter on the source. So you want to exclude certain records, you want to maybe specify certain type of records. So you can do that here, and then your records will be sent correctly to the destination. And we have also advanced features, but this is an advanced conversation that can happen later on. So this would be in a nutshell transfers. Of course, like I said, we'll have time to go through this one by one and explain in later sessions. So then we have groups. So the groups, then you can create them like we have in this case, so that you gather all your transfers. So if you have customer related transfers, you just create a group called customer and you put them together. So it's a way to organize everything that you have, right, that's running on your integration. So instead of having transfers all over the place, then you just have the groups clearly defined, and then you put them together, and it will be easier for you to see how many transfers you have in one group and in the other. And then we have, next one would be schedules. Of course, when you want to send data back and forth, you want to schedule those jobs, so to speak. So then what you do when you have your transfer ready and you think, okay, this is good, can be enabled, then you can create a schedule, and then you can set up an interval. Like you see here, it can run every 30 minutes or every hour, it's up to you. So then this one will run every 30 minutes, and it will try to create or update any data that you have set up in there. And of course, any schedule can be updated, right, in terms of setup. So if you want to change the frequency, if you want to change the days when this is running, so you can make all those changes here. And of course, linked to schedules, you'll see here you have active schedules, meaning the ones that you have enabled. You have due to run, so the ones that are supposed to run next. Then you have notified overdue, so the ones that haven't run on time, so those need to be checked. You have grouped, so you see them how they are shown as part of the groups. And then you have all. So all is everything, so active and inactive. So this is where you see everything that you have set up so far. But you have just, like in my case, I just have one that's active and everything else is inactive. Then we have logs. So under logs, you have a few subsections. So you have runs. So the runs will show you how often it ran, right? So if my schedule is running every 30 minutes, I should see an entry here logged for every 30 minutes, right? Like then you will be able to see that here and see any details. And then next to runs, you would have logs, which are a bit more detailed. So this will show you what happened today, for example. What it ran, how many records have been created, what happened, basically. So it gives you all the information about your transfers, your schedules, and how everything went. And then data errors, which is a very separate place, so to speak. So data errors, this would be the place where you would see those errors that are coming from transfers where continue on error is enabled. So continue on error is just a functionality that you enable on a transfer so that you skip bad records. So imagine you are trying to create 5 customers. One of them has bad data, so that one will be skipped, sent here, and then the other 4 will be sent to the other system. So this is a place where they are being gathered and they need to be reviewed, obviously, and then data has to be fixed or changes have to be made. Now, in order to get notified when it comes to data errors, we do have some solutions right now, so things that can be put in place, and then you would receive email notifications for that. And of course, if you're in that situation, you are using the continue on error functionality and you want to be notified, you can reach out and then we can set up something together, and then you will be notified via email. So this would be that part. And then we have statistics. So this one will show you the current situation of your service. So you have here the time used for all the runs, then the time used for the transfers, then the API calls. So this would be on the Salesforce side. Then you get to see transfer statistics. So for example, if you have a lot of transfers, you'll see more here than what I see. data statistics, and then what happened within the last 24 hours. So this is quite interesting because it will give you an insight into, how things are going with your current integration. And then we have link storages. So link storages are here. Okay, so when it comes to link storages, you can use it, but it's not mandatory. So here, as soon as you configure a link storage, you will be able to store the primary keys that belong to those records in both systems. So if you have customers, then you would see the customer number from Business Central and then the account ID from Salesforce. And this one has to be added on a transfer for it to work, right? So you have this created here, and then you go to your transfer and you link it. And then as soon as the transfer runs, you should be able to see a list here with all the customer numbers and their associated account IDs. And of course, we will have a discussion, a separate session on link storages, how to create them and everything, so that it makes sense, how you should use them moving forward. And then tags. Tags, they usually go hand in hand with link storages. So tags are used when you have more than one entity in one of your systems. So this happens usually with any Microsoft ERPs, right? And then you want to send data from, let's say, Salesforce to multiple instances or entities in Business Central, so to speak. So then you would define the main values here. So you can say connection, company, currency, and they would act as headers. And then below, you just put your values, meaning a line for each connection. So you define everything for every single entity. So this is something that it is being used quite a lot on transfers, and it allows you to send data from Salesforce to multiple legal entities at once. So that would be for the tags. And then we have RTI. So here you will see a list of the transfers that have been running, right? And then what happens here is that the source control of those transfers is being saved here. So what I mentioned before about the source control on a transfer and adding a datetime field, that's actually related to this part, the fact that we, as soon as the transfer runs, we save that date and time when the transfer ran and when the updates were sent to the other system. So here you have access to the source control that has been stored, and you can edit this one. If you want to remove the current value, you can just click on the edit pencil. Just put a 0, and then it will rerun, and it will go back to all the records and try to update them. So you have several options here with the RTI, but of course, that's something that we need to cover in more details in the near sessions that we have. Let me see. And then, so we covered RTI. Of course, we also have Albert, but right now we are testing a lot, and we do think that it will benefit all our customers when it comes to, email notifications or helping with errors or anything like that. So it will be a really great addition to your current setup. Now I'll go back to my presentation here. Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? No questions. Okay, so it means that I explained everything really well. Okay, let me see. Next. Okay, so when it comes to the upcoming sessions, here you will see the main page. So there you'll see more information about the office hours. You have more explanations around it and the upcoming sessions. So you can register for any of them, and then you can join and we can go through certain functionalities. If you cannot join for some reason, you'll still receive an email with the recording and then additional documentation regarding that topic. And then the second URL there would be the complete season 1. So we have 12 sessions so far scheduled. If you have ideas in terms of sessions that we could organize, specific content, you can always reach out and let us know, and we will work on it. And of course, here the next one would be about transfer design. So this would be about setting up a transfer and going through all those sections and explaining what to do and how to move forward. So if you really if you are in that situation when you need to set up transfers and you need to have any logic in place, you can attend the session and we will go through that. The next one would be the complete schedule for this sessions. You can register in advance if you want to. It's up to you how you want to proceed with that. But of course, I think these would be very useful sessions for all customers, and you will get more knowledge and a better understanding of how things are being done within Rapidi. And of course, it would be really great to get your feedback on all sessions. This is just the first one, just an introduction to Rapidi, but the next ones will be more detailed, and we will go through more information. So at any point in time, we really like to get feedback from you, and then we can include that into the content that we prepare, and then the demonstrations as well. And of course, I want to add here another thing about resources. So you can check our documentation. So right now we are working on updating a lot of content there. We're adding new content. And if there's something that's missing, or you think it's not, explained very well, please reach out. You can reach out to me directly, and then I can adjust the content or add more or make changes. And then if you need support, you know where to go, I think. So you can submit a case or reach out via email. We have our product updates. You can also subscribe and get good content into your inbox, I would say. So that would be great. And then we have the release notes. As I mentioned initially, so right now we document all releases, and we have the release notes available for all customers. So if you need to go through any release, you can go ahead and check this link. You'll see there what we have implemented, what changed, or any other features or functionalities that we deployed. So I think that's good information for all customers, and it really helps you to understand what are we doing next and what's happening behind the scenes. So if there's, let me see, check again. Okay. Okay, so then when it comes to, there's one question, I'll go through that quickly. So when it comes to the RTI, so that the RTI actually stands for Runtime Information. Let me see, Runtime. I think it should be here. I will show it to you so it's easier. Let me go back quickly here. So this is the RTI, right? So then if you go to this question mark here, because we have all this information. So this is a full article on what RTI means and what it does and how it works, right? So you can see here that the RTI will definitely store the datetime value that you have on that specific transfer, and it's a runtime information, basically referring to the transfer that's running and that's using a datetime field in there. But of course, like I said, this is in most cases it's just for you to know that it exists. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change it or to do anything about it, right? You have it there. It's something that Rapidi updates constantly. So as long as you are using your datetime field on all your transfers, then you don't need to be concerned about the runtime information that's being stored, right? But just as a reminder, like on any section on a transfer or anywhere in Rapidi, you would have this question mark, right? That would lead you to the wiki page. If you get to the wiki page and you realize that, it's not enough information, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, then you can reach out to me, and then I can add more content or make it more detailed, right? So I think that would be also great to get it from you. No worries, Yusuf, you're most welcome. I think we just really want to make sure that the wiki is being used by customers, and also I think I prefer to go into the wiki and improve any sections, any articles, so that you can definitely use the content properly. So I think that's definitely something we aim to do. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. In any case, then I will see you next week if you want to join the next session, which is about transfers. If not, in the following weeks. And if you have any concerns, any questions, or need any additional information, you can also reach out to us, and we will be happy to help. Thank you for joining, and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.